My name's Tala, and I'm just going to take you through a resource that I've created, and I'm hoping it will help you. I encourage you also to look at other resources as they will also help you to go through the process of writing a narrative. So the purpose of a narrative writing is to entertain. It's really the art of storytelling, and a narrative can be factual or fictional. So it can be a person, place or thing, events and so forth. So yeah, have a little study about that and some things to think about. What's the purpose of your audience? Who are you writing this for? Who is in the story? Where does it take place? And when does it take place? So things you can do to set the scene. That's the very beginning of your narrative, and you're giving your reader an understanding of where the story takes place, who's in the story, and you start just giving details to build up a picture in the mind of your reader. So stop these frames to read what I've given you, just to make sure that you actually understand and getting value from this information, because there's some really good stuff. So have a look at that. In your narrative, you need a conflict. So a narrative needs a conflict. A conflict is a problem in your story that needs resolving, and that's really where you captivate your audience. So things that you can do to improve your conflict: give your characters clear goals. Why are those characters in your stories, and what are they going to do to create conflict and tension and excitement? What are they trying to achieve as being part of your story? So dialogue is what you say or what your character says. So you can start using the language of your character to start developing the conflict. So think of your own conversations, actually, where you've had conversations with maybe friends or other people, and there's been a conflict. So you might even like to use some of those ideas in your personal experience and write that into your story, and you'll see how that builds up tension in your story. So you also need a climax in your story. A climax is the part of your story where the tension or action reaches its highest point. Sometimes the climax is a crisis point in the plot. It's where the problem gets so bad you're desperate to find or understand the outcome, or at least your reader is. So things to consider when writing a climax: know when your readers are ready for that. So build up to this moment. Know when the time is right to build it up and when to bring it down. Know the purpose of your climax and some other things. Don't keep your reader in that moment of wow too long, because it'll become unrealistic to keep them in that place. You'll need to know how to bring them up and how to bring them down. And usually the climax is at the end of your story, unless you're writing two conflicts, but I don't suggest to do that because it gets a bit tricky. Then you have the resolution, which is the closing of your story, and you have two options here. You can find a solution to your conflict, or you can leave it hanging without a solution, and this is commonly called a cliffhanger. So we'll look at both of those. A cliffhanger, if you decide to create a cliffhanger that's not resolving your conflict, then write the ending so that the reader is left wondering what happened next, but give them enough information or clues as to what may happen in the end, because they need a little bit of help there. The other option is to resolve the conflict. If you want to resolve your story's conflict and bring the story to an end, decide on a final event that lets the reader know how it all ended up. You know, it could be a sad or a happy ending. You have power over that. So here's some common errors in your narrative: not using enough figurative language. That's using your metaphors and similes and those types of things. So also getting lost in the story. That means you have little direction or order, and the reader is lost and can't follow your writing, and also taking too long to get into the action. And the other thing is not using enough descriptive writing by using your senses. That's touch, taste, smell, etc., including thought and emotions and so forth. Anyway, I went through that pretty fast, but do stop the frames if you need to read it, and I hope that is of help to you. So good luck with your story.